think when people hear influencers, or at least I do, they think of all the garbage that's on Instagram in the B2C world. Everyone thinks of B2C and B2C only. And the good news is it started to change over the last couple of years. So before we get into all that good stuff, how do you define influencer marketing?
Yeah, no, I think you've set it up really, really good. Here's the deal. We all know that people buy a certain kind of golf club because Tiger Woods uses it, or he doesn't, right? If you're not a Tiger fan, whatever. Or you buy a certain, oh my gosh, I didn't even know.
No,
I
it's
promise
broken.
that wasn't
No,
rehearsed.
it was not. It's broken. I have to go get it fixed today, but all right, keep going.
Perfect, right. So it's you bought that because maybe you're a Tiger Woods fan. I really don't know why I chose a golf analogy because I'm not a golfer, but it's been happening in the B2C world for years. And you, as a consumer, have been falling into this buying psychology forever. So yeah, it's we are with every channel, B2B is behind, but here we are trying to step up to the plate and catch up on influencer marketing. And it's really just we want to trust and believe in those that we have something in common with, right? It's I really love Simone Biles. I used to be a gymnast when I was younger. So it's if she wants to back a certain skincare product, I'm X% more likely to be oh yes, I would like to try that as well. And I think it's all about finding common ground. And we already have some layer of trust with these quote unquote influencers in our consumer mindset. So let's bring that same psychology over into the B2B world. And I think that's what marketers today are trying to keep up with and learn to implement in the B2B space.
Yeah. And I think for me, you touched on a couple different things, but it's all about like knowing and liking and trusting these people. And you don't really know them personally, I would say most of the time, but you look up to them or want to be like them in some way. So whenever they recommend something, it holds a little bit more weight, at least for me, when I'm looking at, if it's, let's use golf, if it's certain golfers, if it's somebody recommending apparel that they wear, or in a B2B context, if it's somebody saying, they had a really good experience with this piece of software, it's just the third party validation that seems to be more believable in some ways when it's coming from people and not the company who's trying to get you to buy whatever they're selling.
That's what I was going to say. I think that's the point. It's they are more accredited, right? It's more authentic because they are hopefully really a user of this skincare product or this B2B software or whatever the case may be. And they are giving a true testimony to what they think about it, what they like, maybe what they don't like, all of those things. And that's the power of influencer marketing. And yeah, we're just trying to catch up to what B2C figured out probably 70 years ago.
Yeah. And this is going to be a tough question because I don't even know if I can remember my own answer, but when do you feel like you first came across influencer marketing, or at least you remember it?
I feel probably 5 years or so ago, but the difference is that it was really being a playbook that was run by the big dogs, especially in software. Salesforce, those level of players were the people that were really already playing that way. And I think there are several reasons as to why smaller players hadn't entered that field yet. And we can definitely get into that too. But I would say probably 5 to 7 years ago was but only 1% of the people were doing it. And even then, maybe not doing it the best.
Yeah, I think for me, at least in a B2C context, I almost think of it more as endorsements. And I mean, influencer marketing is kind of you're endorsing something at the end of the day. But I always think back to, I had to go the golf route again, but Tiger Woods endorsing something, or any big athlete who was endorsing something. It was oh, wait, if it's good enough for them, it's more than good enough for me. So I think that was my first time coming across it in a B2C world. And then in the B2B world, I don't know. I think it was the mammoth enterprise software company is definitely within the last, let's say 5 to 10 years. I don't know specifically of one of those companies, but I feel they had the budget at first to do it because it was so insanely expensive. It's still expensive depending on who you're trying to get to influence these days. But I think the cost has come down a little bit too.
Yeah, I think so. I would agree with that.